What's up everybody, Mike here, and in this video I want to go over some major details you should know before you buy Shadow of the Erdtree expansion for Elden Ring, if you haven't already, that is. This personally for me is such a hype time in gaming right now. I'm very excited for this. I'm definitely going to be shooting this day one and really looking forward to all the new experiences that we as players are going to, encounter and just seeing this expansion. It's going to be very, very meaty, so content filled and everything like that. And just, it's coming, on all platforms available on, which is PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. So very, very exciting stuff. And this is no doubt going to be a massive experience. And we still don't know a ton about it, which is fine. From Software likes to leave some mystery a lot to it. We only know of some things like certain enemies, some bosses, certain weapons, things like that, which I'll go into more detail in this video. The first thing I want to start with, though, is talking about the increased difficulty the expansion offers and provides players. So, in recent reports from those who have played a preview build of the DLC, they noted that even going in with a level 150 character, the enemies and bosses and overall experience is more challenging than the base game. This makes sense, as for past Souls games made by From Software always had a DLC be more difficult for players to encourage new strategy, level up more, and try out the new weapons, etc. This makes me wonder also what may end up being the new meta level, since level 150 has been the overall agreed upon sweet spot for builds if you're doing PvP or PvE while still enjoying a fun and fair challenge. I could see it going up to 175 or even 200 due to the DLC, but for those who don't care about meta level, you already should be way above level 150. Then there are new enemies that we'll be encountering in the DLC. So some new enemies are already known, like the Wicker Basket, giants roaming the region who emit homing fire projectiles and slam down if you provoke them. But there are also unrelenting Gravebirds, the Black Gold Knight, which apparently is similar to the Crucible Knights, large foes decked out in carrying armor, giant scorpions, and even a dragon that emits black flames. And these are just the ones that have been discovered in initial parts of the region. There's still plenty of surprises when it comes to enemies and bosses, to find in the overall expansion and later sections of it, basically. When it comes to the size and scale of the new map, From Software has said that the Land of Shadow is larger than Limgrave in pure surface area, though it wanted to present a denser and richer level design, which brings these types of layouts together a little more seamlessly. But we still don't know the exact scaling, even based on reports from recent previews. And I've seen other reports speculating that supposedly it might be like 70 hours or so of worth of content. So expect to explore a lot and dig in and just kind of live in this game for a while. We also have new characters to, meet in this expansion, figure out, possibly fight as well too. Well, I shouldn't say possibly, because we're definitely fighting some new characters, but when it comes to NPCs, that is, we're gonna be finding out who's gonna be some new allies, people like that. You're not the only one pursuing Mikola, as you'll discover when first entering the Land of Shadow. Furrowed Finger Needle Knight Letta will meet you before diving in. Other followers like Freya, a former ally to General Radahn, and Hornson, who provides a map, also dot the region, attempting to discern Mikola's purpose, but following all the same. There are details on 2 new dungeons as well. So we don't know too much about the new dungeons yet, but at least when it comes to 2 of them, they are both incredibly intriguing. Ballarat is between Stormvale and Castle Morn in scale, with numerous nooks and crannies to explore. Then there's Castle Insis, akin somewhat to Carrier Manor. IGN also noted at least one other dungeon that they missed but had a seemingly exciting boss fight. The number of legacy dungeons is still to be determined, but you'll be happy there'll be regular dungeons to experience in this expansion. Then one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is new major bosses. And we already know Mesmer, the Imperialer, is definitely like the main one we gotta take down. But he's not the only one. So players encounter entities like the Beast, Dancing Lion, and Ballarat, who attacks wildly before, unleashing lightning and ice attacks. Meanwhile, Castle Insis has Rolana, Twin Moon Knight. If the name wasn't a dead giveaway, he also has an attack that reminds one of Renala's Full Moon. You don't want to underestimate his melee skills, as Rolana also wields dual swords and unleashes fire when striking. And we can't forget that there's going to be new minor bosses as well, essentially the, sub-bosses. Despite over 10 bosses being confirmed, that figure seems to encompass the major bosses in the expansion, doesn't include the optional bosses. And it has been confirmed that, just like in Elden Ring, the base game, not all bosses need to be defeated, but there will still be plenty of difficult challenges for the brave tarnished who wish to test themselves. So the final figure still remains to be seen. I personally am going to be looking to eliminate all the bosses as I did in the base game. Another exciting thing to look forward to in this expansion is new weapons to try out and master, which makes these new challenges more inviting. Milady is a light greatsword, which hits hard yet swings faster than other weapons of the archetype. The heavy smith's grip axe is true to its name, but can also be thrown to nail distant opponents. The backhand blade can split into dual blades, and a new weapon type emphasizes more beat-em-up style combat, which is, referring to essentially martial arts weapons being utilized now. And don't forget, Child Erdtree does introduce 8 new different types of weapons that are not in the base game and can only be found in the expansion. They have their own styles, movesets, requirements, ashes of war, and may cater to diverse playstyles of play. Then adding on to that, new weapon arts. So, of course, these new weapons also have the Ash of War weapon arts, which I just mentioned, to increase their potency. We got some new ones that'll be utilized. The backhand blade lets you dash to the side and stab an opponent, while Milady activates a stance for various follow-up attacks. There's a dagger with a counter on guarding that unleashes a throwing knife. And this is all very exciting stuff because for build crafters like me who love making build videos for Elden Ring and other games, I'm gonna have a field day with this. In total, there seems to be around 100 new weapons in the expansion. This was confirmed by Bandai Namco, who told Games Radar that there are around 100 new weapons, including 8 new categories, which I kind of mentioned before earlier, each with self variations. So, and in comparison to From Software's previous DLCs, expansions, that's a pretty hefty total and should provide even more incentive to explore and find these weapons. Best of all, they can be used outside the Land of Shadow, freshening up the base game experience, which I kind of figured that because that's what From Software usually does with DLC. You can use them in the base game too. So this new spells, new weapons, for the most part, should all be allowed in the base game. That's not all, because there are new spirit ashes to find in the expansion and obtain. Players who favor their support from Spirit Ashes will also have some new summons. The annoying Grave Bird can serve you and attack from above alongside the Finger Creepers from the base game. There's also Black Knight Commander Andreas, who apparently will be endowed with great strength and command over the powers of the Crucible, so that's very interesting. This new item, in-game item in the expansion called Erdtree Fragments, is going to help with new players or players that maybe want to just make the experience overall in expansion easier for them somewhat. So upon use, they reduce the damage dealt by enemies in a new region alone. You discover them while exploring, but the number required increases with each upgrade. Now, keep in mind, this is optional. You do not have to use them whatsoever if you want to keep the fun challenge. I know personally I will not be using them because I want to enjoy the fun new challenges that this expansion brings. Then, on the other hand, you have Revered Spirit Ashes, and these will increase the damage dealt by your spirit summons and torrent while negating the damage received by the latter. Once again, these can't be used outside of the DLC, so much like the Erdtree Fragments, these two specific items are only for the expansion. And even if you're not a fan of summons, reinforcing the Spectral Steed is always a nice bonus. And lastly, I want to end off with quality of life changes. So obviously it's going to, with the expansion, it's going to offer a range of, bug fixes and improvements. But there's going to be some great quality of life changes as well. According to GameSpot, your inventory has a new recent items tab, which will help when sorting. Furthermore, new items have an exclamation point, so you can tell at a glance, which is bound to be helpful when collecting all new stuff. And that wraps it up for this video when it comes to all the information you should know. But we're a week away, from this expansion dropping. your boy here is definitely going to get into it, you know, checking out a lot. Going to do a live stream let's play of it. And I may end up doing a walkthrough as well. And I'm going to have some other guides and other videos going up regarding Shadow Erdtree and even the base game stuff too. So stay tuned for that, as well as, how to prepare for the DLC. So let me know your thoughts on this video when it comes to these details of these, are stuff you are looking forward to, excited about, or not. I did also check online, apparently, that only 30 to 40% of players have actually beaten Moog to even enter the expansion. So, guys, if you want to play this DLC, 60% of y'all need to get to it. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this, and we'll be making a lot of content around this, so you got that to look forward to from me. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. My name is Mike. Thanks for watching.